Hey guys, welcome back to the Screen Team. We are almost done with our show, our hour-long edition of the show, but before we call it quits, we've got one more review to do, and I've got Stacy here, and I love having Stacy on because when Stacy's on, we're usually reviewing like an old classic, and I like old classics. I know Stacy does too, right?
Yeah, they're important.
They are important because they guided how cinema is now.
Without classics, we wouldn't have remakes.
That's right.
All of the remakes.
All of them.
All of them.
This next movie is a movie called Mutiny on the Bounty, and it's got your boy in it, Clark Gable.
Hubba hubba.
With no mustache, by the way. What did you think about that? Does he look good without the mustache?
Yeah, especially when he had that bandana on his head.
Yeah.
Like when he took his own ship over or whatever.
Sure.
Oh, Clark Gable makes a nice pirate.
So Clark Gable, he's a seaman. He's a pirate. He is on this ship called the Bounty, and he's like, what? Is he like number 2 on the ship?
Yeah.
He's
like the
He's not the captain, but he's like
the co-captain.
He's the co-captain, if you will. But his captain, he's a mean dude. He is a mean dude. His name is.
A couple of times I wanted to give him a shove in the pants right over the edge.
His name is Captain Bligh, and he goes by his own book. Basically, I guess from the very first scene when you see all the crew coming on board and whatnot, and what happened with that one scene? It's been a week or two since I've seen it, but there was a guy who. Didn't he die?
Lashes.
But he was dead,
he was
wasn't
supposed to get lashes, and by the time he got there, he was dead, and they made him lash him anyway.
That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here with this movie, man. And
if death wasn't bad enough, now we're going to lash you.
So from the very start, we see what kind of Captain Bligh is, and everything's not good enough with him. You know,
no.
you scrub the decks, and you I don't have sailing terms on me.
I don't either.
So, but you know, the guys are working hard, but not hard and well as Bligh wants them to, right?
Yeah. If you give blood, he wants you to give like all of your blood.
Sure.
You know, there was one poor guy. He just wanted some water for his knees. Just want some water for my knees. They gave him some water for his knees. They threw him overboard. Who does that?
Get off my ship. I don't want you here. But Clark Gable, he's like the exact opposite. He is, his name is Christian, and he's the good old boy, I guess.
Yeah. He wants you to do a good job.
Sure,
he wants everything to be so, but he's not willing to risk your life to get that.
Yeah.
Like the one guy, I didn't quite understand if the one guy was from a royal family, or the one who got sent up the flags at the very beginning, and he was just, I don't know, I didn't know what he was from, but he was all gung-ho, and he's like, I'll see you in 2 years, and this is gonna be great.
Right.
And the first night he's at the top of the flagpole in a storm with a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what that deal was, and Clark Gable was like, get him down. No, we're not getting him down. So Clark Gable gets him down, gets him set up. The doc gives him a little nip of something to take back up the pole. So yeah, Clark Gable, he tries to get the job done, but let's not die doing it.
Yeah. They reach their destination, which is an island somewhere in the Pacifics or whatever.
Tahiti? Was it Tahiti?
I think so. And they're doing a trade with the native people there, and then everything all comes to a head. All this emotion and turmoil come to a head because they had to put all this stuff, all the cargo and all the supplies back on the ship or whatnot that they traded with the people from Tahiti, and to do so, they had to kind of ration out some of their water rations or whatever. So that means the guys who were working on the ship didn't get as much water as they should, and
the water they needed was for the plants, the trees they were bringing back.
That's right. So the folks they've had enough.
Yeah,
they're
done.
The crew have had enough. They have a mutiny on the Bounty. Hey, the title of the movie, right? So they kick off Bligh and all his cohorts, and that's our basis here of the story. We find out what happens with Bligh and everybody later on in the film. But You saw it for the first time. What did you think about it?
Oh, I liked it.
Did you?
I liked it. And I bet it would have been really good in color.
Yeah.
I could just picture like the island scenes and all that, like in the color from, the Technicolor or whatever that was in the 60s or, whatever. But I bet it would have been really good in color. But it was a great movie.
What'd you think about Bly? I mean, was he...
I wanted to kick him overboard.
Was he so evil? Like, was...
He was terrible.
Yeah.
He was a horrible, terrible, awful human being.
In your opinion, is he like one of the greatest villains ever in cinematic history?
He's right up there with Hans Gruber.
I knew you were going to mention Hans. I love it, man. And of course, Christian Gable. He's the movie star of this film. He's the good guy, or at least one of the good guys in the film. What did you think about his performance?
Oh, I think he did excellent.
Yeah.
He hasn't let me down yet. I don't think so.
Have you ever seen It Happened One Night with him?
Oh, what's that about?
Him and it's a film from the early 1930s, and him and this girl, two totally different personalities. They get stuck trying to go across country together, kind of feel. It's really good. It's really
but if
funny.
I haven't, maybe we should.
We've already reviewed it. It was actually on our. It was actually, check this out. It was actually on our very first Screen Team show.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Long time ago. But great movie, by the way. What makes this film extra special? It's been nominated for tons and tons of Oscars. It won an Oscar. Let's see here. It was nominated. It won Best Picture in 1936. But what makes this film interesting is that 3 of the male leads were all nominated for Best Actor.
Like the same year?
The same year.
For the same movie?
For the same movie. Clark Gable was nominated for a leading role. Charles Laughton, who played Bly, was also Best Actor in a leading role nomination. And so was, I'm going to mess this name up, Francois Tone. He was Best Actor in a leading role. And because they had all 3 of these people in the same category, a few years later, they changed it to, they added Best Supporting Actor.
Oh.
So this is like one of the...
So who won it that year? Was it the fourth guy?
None of these... Yeah, it was.
Fourth guy.
I think they split the vote because they were all nominated and none of them won.
Huh.
But I think Charles Laughton should have won as Bly. He was so evil, so good.
He was bad.
I enjoyed this film. I like it. I think I'm going to watch it again down the line. What about you?
Do you think you will watch the remake?
No, I don't want to see that. Who's in that?
Marlon Brando?
Yeah, Marlon. I don't want to see him.
But it might be cool to see how they've varied from, how they strayed from the original.
All right,
Stacey. That'd be interesting.
All right, you've convinced me.
It's like 2 classics because they're both so old.
Who would you want to see Bly if they decided to make a movie
like
today?
If they did it today.
Yeah, who would be your Bly? Who would be your Christian? Is that an easier question?
No.
Channing Tatum as Christian?
No way.
Okay.
He's not near charming enough.
All right, I'm trying here. What about, he might be a little old, but what about George Clooney as Christian?
He could pull that off. He still isn't see, that's the problem. We do not have the handsome...
We don't have
We don't have that anymore. We do not have that.
We don't have the Clark Gable of today. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we don't.
We don't have the Cary Grant of today?
Right.
Okay.
We have too many actors. That's the problem.
Let's get rid of them.
Yeah, let's cut them in half. They start complaining, they're out. No, but back then they didn't have such a large acting pool. So,
sure.
If you were Clark Gable, you could be Clark Gable. There was nobody really trying to emulate back then. So it'd be hard to compare it to somebody now because...
I'm trying to think, man. Who could be Bly?
See, that tells you right there we have a problem. If we can't, out of all the actors we got, we can't pick one.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. She's Stacy. I'm Chris. We're part of the Screen Team. If you have any suggestions on who you'd like to see on a remake of Mutiny on the Bounty, give us a shout, give us a like, give us a comment. Just stay in touch with us on the Screen Team, okay? Stacy, Chris, we are the Screen Team. And remember, we want you to know before you go.